Every year it was a battle to make the one they were doing as good or better than the previous one. You always had this sort of goal that you had to aim for, and there was always that worry attached to it, you know, will we pull it off?
The phone call in the early hours of the morning saying, do you know you had 30 million viewers last night? It was something I had to come to terms with. It was scary, it was frightening. And you battled it to keep, well, you had to. You just had to fight to keep that, forget it completely. And just say, well, there's another job, another joke, next line, keep going.
There is nothing like a day.
They must have been surprised, I suppose, by just how big they became. And quite what it was like to have half the country watching you is not something I can imagine, and not something really any comedian can imagine these days.
It sounds slightly over-emotional to say it, but I'm incredibly grateful to them for what they brought. For any Morecambe and Wise fan, it's never... I think we're all... it sounds ridiculous, but I think everyone will miss it and always will.
There is absolutely nothing like the fray.
Eric Morecambe died in 1984. Morecambe and Wise skipped away from us with their backs to us for the last time. Except they're still around, they're still in our heads, we still laugh at them, we still love them, and an awful lot of entertainers are still inspired by them.
Lend me those glasses for a second.
I remember sitting and watching Morecambe and Wise do their live stand-up routine, which I'd never seen at that point, and loving it.
I just turned into wearing Morecambe and I've got these sort of glasses on, sorry. Hey!
That sort of gave me that extra push to get going with it and start the comedy.
Warlock's edible von Guzzlebucket. I'm Starvington Stations.
Yeah, Hungalos, Mukmungalos. I remember being in a meeting when I first was in development for a show. I said, I want to look to camera within a sitcom, and then 3 comedy executives just stared at me and went, Stop! My tracksuit actress! Stitches on the floor! Stop! Watching Morecambe Wise, remember that being a real release of going, I can see some silliness and people are silly, and so maybe one day I can be silly.
Hugh and I, there was a sketch we did called Gossard Wonderpants.
When you are wearing these pants, you can't run. You can barely move. 10 minutes from here to that doorway.
Which is effectively just one long tribute to Morecambe and Wise, I can now admit.
What was amazing, and you couldn't have known it beforehand, before doing a show like that, was this sort of love coming back from the audience. The love that they had for Morecambe and Wise.
I knew I wanted to do a one-man play. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do it about, actually. And people all my life have said, God, you look like Eric. So the idea started there, and it was a toss-up between Eric Morecambe or Joseph Pujol, the flatulentist of the 1800s. And thankfully, I think we made the right choice. The legacy of Morecambe and Wise is sort of seeping into other areas of culture and other areas of the arts.
I wanted the drama to be a celebration of Eric and Ernie. The moment I started looking at the various pieces of research and so on about Sadie's role in their lives and how they got together at a double act, I got very excited and I thought, I can't not do this, really.
Look who the wind's blowing in.
Father Christmas must be close. One of his little helpers is here already.
Oh, at least say hello before you do your routine.
I was checking my emails and it had the usual spam. It was going down this list of spam, basically. Then it was like Victoria Wood, then spam. I'm like, hang on a minute.
Well, there's always room for you here, Ernie.
Oh, yes, there's always room for Lily White. Expect I'll be sleeping in the coal bunker.
But no, it was Victoria, and she just said, would really like to do a film about Eric and Ernie's early lives, and can we meet sort of ASAP to discuss?
You really looked at him to begin with, did you? You think he had to
Well,
win your
He was
heart?
so positive, you know, you don't normally meet someone, which was at the bank hall in the morning, you know, when everyone was putting their books down, and say to your partner, this is the girl I'm going to marry, which is a little bit unheard of, you know.
And Ernie, you're missing your best mate, Arthur Askey's on. There you go.
Interest never stops, and I'm amazed at the way people remember them and remember things that were in the shows. You know, I can meet people out shopping, getting my groceries, and people will stop me and start saying, oh, you know, you are Eric Morecambe's wife, aren't you? And have a conversation about them.
I think it's impossible to be a double act in Britain without being influenced by Morecambe and Wise, really.
Exactly like you. Why should we spend money?
With our double acts, it's influenced. I think if we were to aspire to any double act, it would be them, because it's that silliness and that daftness and that warmth and just that good old-fashioned entertainment.
You make me feel so glad. I want to have the world to you. You seem to understand.
I've been in a double act for 25 years now, Reeves and Mortimer, and it's been suggested that we are like Morecambe and Wise. It's basically just because I'm taller with specs and Bob's shorter with less hair. Morecambe and Wise set that standard. It's always the new Morecambe and Wise, isn't it? Maybe at some point they'll be they're the new Vic and Bob.
Trying to define the greatness of Morecambe and Wise is a fool's errand, really. They were original, extremely lovable, extremely funny.
More happiness, so much.
They did bring an absolute silliness, escapism and joy.
Me happy through the years.
Their comedy, I think, it's fun, it's beautiful. There's no cruelty in it, there's no malice, and if there is, it's done with such affection.
Your arms be as warm as the sun.
Across the board, what everyone really loves about them is the fact that it's feel-good comedy. You come away from watching a Morecambe and Wise show just with a smile on your face.
Bring me sunshine.
They were just funny. Their performance is their legacy. And why wouldn't it be?
In this world where we live.
I really do not have any idea why Morecambe and Wise worked, but I'm so pleased it did.
Bright tomorrow, make me happy.
How's this for an ego trip? Sometimes I can see a group of people at a bus stop. I think to myself, you may not know it, and you don't know me, but at some time in your lives, I've made you smile.
If anyone said to me, I actually don't like Morecambe and Wise, I would judge them as a person. If my wife had said to me the night before my wedding, oh, I forgot to tell you I don't like Morecambe and Wise, I cannot guarantee that I would have turned up the next day. Sorry to let you know like this, but...
When you feel down, try positive thinking.
Left us with a legacy, so that's all we can say.
Shirley Bassey.
Shirley Bassey
with the boot. Coming down the steps with the boots on.
Don't wear a frown.
You used to throw things up in the air and have a bag and kick the panic.
I like the grapefruit ones where they sort of squeeze it through, you know. They were good.
Instead, you've got to look.
Whenever I hear an ambulance go past, I always do the he's not going to sell me any ice creams going that fast, you know. And I work in a hospital now.
Thinking, positive thinking, we'll get together in life.
You like this? Oh no, that was Paul Daniels. You like this? Not a lot.